What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Swigger and I have another high ELO commentary for you, this time featuring Team Impulse's Rush, TiP Rush, who is in the NALCS. He is also, I believe he got to rank number 1 on the Korean solo queue ladders, and he's playing in North America on Team Impulse. He is an absolutely incredible jungler who I think a lot of people could argue that he has kind of a solo queue mentality when it comes to jungling. Tends to play a little bit more carry type junglers, makes a lot of very risky plays that you normally see in solo queue, but not really in the team game of the LCS or other organizations like that. But I'm definitely excited to see him on somebody like Lee Sin. It was one of his staple champions coming into the LCS, and when you think about Korean solo queue, you really do think about mechanically skilled people playing mechanically difficult champions, and I would say that Lee Sin is one of the prime examples of a champion that is very, very difficult to master, but when you do, he is absolutely incredible at engaging team fights, at doing damage, and just being an absolute great member of any team to have. So I'm very excited to be watching Rush play Lee Sin in this high ELO game. This is Challenger. Just looking at the lanes here, and I'm actually glad that I came out to this top lane because, wow, we got a lot of damage going down. It's going to be a very interesting game just when you look at the lanes. There's a lot of fairly meta picks going on here. Of course, the Varus in the mid lane, which started coming into popularity. Also, Cassiopeia up in the top lane, which came into popularity from Fnatic's Huni bringing that up. But then you got your fairly standard lanes with Ashe and Leona in the bot lane with a Sivir Thresh. But it looks like Rush is going for his first gank onto this Cassiopeia. I believe she's probably going to flash here, but wow, actually gets the first blood. Cassiopeia looks like it already burned her flash to get away from the Riven previously. So Rush picking up the first blood of this game at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Very good start to him, and as a Lee Sin, you do tend to fall off a little bit in the later portions of the game. So you want to try to get to your mid-game point as fast as humanly possible, so that way you can absolutely abuse the lanes. And getting that first blood is definitely going to help. I was just setting up the lanes a little bit down there, just so that way we can have a better representation as to what the creep scores are currently at and how everybody's faring. As we can see, there's just a slight lead for the Varus. I was kind of expecting that, but the Diana's doing a very good job, considering that Varus is a ranged AD carry against a melee Diana. And the thing is, too, just like what we're seeing here, is that once Varus gets those blight stacks on, using any other ability does an insane amount of damage to the Diana, and she's probably had to go through all of her flash charges, while Varus still has, I believe, 1 left. So he's definitely sitting in a good position to hopefully increase his CS lead, but it looks like we have a roam coming from this Cassiopeia. Not entirely sure what she's thinking of getting done here. There's not really a lot of war coverage for any team around here, but the Varus is going to get dove by 3 people. They are going to turret dive this. The Rek'Sai taking a lot of damage. Cassiopeia trying to get the last couple shots, is going to pick up the kill onto the Varus, and now Rush is in a bad spot. He is going to pick up the kill on Cassiopeia, however, but the return kill is going to go to the Diana, leading to a double kill for the Diana, but at least they did get 1 in return. But a 3-man turret dive at, what was it, level 4 for the Rek'Sai, and now level 5. So very early turret dive for 3 people, but luckily Rush was in the area, managed to secure himself his 2nd kill of the game, allowing him to pick up a Brutalizer. And as we can see, kind of an interesting way of building the jungle, not finishing off the jungle item overly quick, going for the Brutalizer first to really have that mid-game spike that he's going to need. But it looks like an engage from the Leona. The Sivir's just trying to do as much damage as possible. The Thresh making sure that he locks down the Leona, but here comes the Rek'Sai. Great timing for a gank, and that is going to be a kill onto the Thresh, going over to the Rek'Sai. And it looks like he just hit the 5th level, I think, on that Rek'Sai. That was a pretty interesting thing. I don't think I've seen that in-game before. But congratulations, Rek'Sai. It looks like now Rush is coming down, trying to find the Rek'Sai. Is going to land the Q, but it's just going to get knocked up and not really going to lead to anything. Didn't want to go too aggro there because the Ashe and the Leona were there to respond. But it looks like the Diana and the Cassiopeia are swapping lanes. I guess maybe the range of Varus was starting to get a little bit too aggro for the Diana. Maybe she just couldn't keep up with that. But I believe that the Cassiopeia would do a much better job at that one. But it could also be that Riven was just a little bit too aggro for the Cassiopeia. We saw how aggro Riven was going, but it looks like Rush is now here for a gank in the bottom lane. Ashe is going to try to pick up a kill onto the Sivir because she's probably screwed anyways. A great Sonic Wave landing onto the Ashe. That's going to be a 3rd kill for Rush. Sadly, the Thresh just misses death sentence, just hitting that first minion, but Rush is doing a great job this game, really finding some places to have impact, but it looks like we missed a kill up in the top lane. Diana managing to solo out that Riven. which is very interesting to see, but with the red buff getting quite a bit of early damage, and here just comes the dives, and it looks like we're just having a one-on-one fight. Riven trying her best to get away from this one, but the flash coming out of the Diana is going to be enough to secure that kill. So now both top laners' flashes are down, but Diana coming out ahead on that 3-0-0 for the Diana, doing very, very well. I'm actually thinking about moving her portrait. Now, you know what? I'll keep her in the mid lane, just because I kind of want Cassiopeia up in the top, because she is the one with teleport. I figured they're going to move her at some point, probably when you get into the mid game or the laning phase is done. But as we can see, the strength of Cassiopeia, when she does land that poison, her fangs are just so deadly. Even with no AP items, she does an insane amount of damage to this Varus. Just sitting on 2 Doran's blades and getting him to half HP just with a couple quick fangs. Rush is now coming into the mid lane. He has finished off his Chilling Smite, but he's also gone for the Warrior enchantment. So this is kind of what I was talking about when it comes to the solo queue mentality that Rush has. Normally on pretty much any jungler nowadays, you would, oh, the Chain of Corruption misses. Probably would have been a dead Cassiopeia, but sadly Varus missed that one. Normally you would see something like a Lee Sin go for more of a utility Lee Sin, probably go for the Cinderhulk and then just try to set up plays with his Dragon's Rage. But looks like Rush isn't going that way. Going for the Warrior, really wants that that big burst damage coming out and that fight potential if he catches Rek'Sai out. He's really going for that dual carry jungler potential, which is going to be a little bit interesting later on into the game, because when you look at it, when they've got Riven up in the top lane and a Thresh in the bot lane, you don't really have that large damage absorbing tank. But if Rek'Sai goes for the Cinderhulk, I'm assuming Rek'Sai is going to be the tank here, but already with 2 longswords, probably going for that Brutalizer. Don't really think that Rek'Sai is going to be going a very early tank route, but here comes the Riven, popping her ultimate, going to try to do as much damage to this Diana as possible. Will probably clean up this kill. There we go, the shutdown bonus going to the Riven. 300 extra gold for that kill. Very, very important to go on somebody like the Riven, who can scale so well into the the mid game. And when you have a Lee Sin and a Riven who get some kills in the early game to translate into the mid game, it is just going to be so hard for the blue team to deal with. Considering they have somebody like an Ashe and a Cassiopeia and a Rek'Sai who are great in the late game. But here we go, the turret dive. Rush is jumping in here. Does get locked down by that Rek'Sai for just a little bit, but it looks like the turret was not enough to take down Rush, so that is going to be a nice, clean turret dive. The kill going to Rush, with the assist also going to the Riven, setting her up nicely. This has so far been an action-packed game. We have had a kill a minute. 9 kills in 9 minutes. Definitely an exciting game. This is the exact kind of stuff that I like to see from Challenger's solo queue. Just an absolute bloodbath. But the Rek'Sai ultimate coming down. A great flay landing on the Leona, but here comes the Ashe ultimate plus the Leona ultimate, locking down the Thresh, and this is going to be a kill for the Ashe. INT Mango getting that kill, and Leona doing a very good job at just backing off, knowing that Ashe had that one, letting her get the kill, her first kill of the game. You're just starting to realize the amount. Oh my god, and the damage going down onto the Sivir. The heal has been used from the Sivir, but it looks like Rush is now here. Lands a great Q and gets the kill with the smite. Sivir even coming in to bait her in just a little bit more, and that is one dead Ashe killing spree for Rush. 5-1-0. Man, he is just so strong right now. I'm not entirely sure how you plan on dealing with this guy. When he can pretty much fight anybody. Oh my god. So Sivir apparently got cocky a little bit there. Stuck around at no HP. And it looks like the Leona is actually just gonna what? The flash over from the Leona plus the dubstep ignite. Look at that. Oh, Leona making plays, knowing that the Sivir was still there. Rush is now going to get encountered by this Rek'Sai, though. I don't know if he's going to have enough to get away from this one. Has to flash away and smite the Rek'Sai. Is going to Dragon's Rage him away and try to just get away using the Scuttle Crab. Gets out of range of the Zenith Blade, and that is going to be Rush escaping from, I would have sworn, near death there. Ashe does not have her ultimate. I was expecting to see an arrow fly down after that hawk shot. But great escape from Rush. I could have sworn he was going to die there, but using that Scuttle Crab with his Q to get away from that Zenith Blade was just a stroke of genius. But it looks like Rek'Sai now onto the Thresh. Zenith Blade, he's going to land on that one. Thresh is just going to get locked up, flashes away, and gets a great death sentence. Oh my god! That Thresh keeping a level head. I love his name. Cat Vomit is what I'm going to end up saying here. But Thresh keeping a level head, trying to escape from that gank, flashes and gets an amazing death sentence onto the Cassiopeia. She couldn't even use her ultimate. She was locked down in turret range, and Varus picking himself up a free kill with the assistance of Thresh. Very well played. But Rek'Sai now jumping in onto the Varus. I think Varus might very well be dead here. The barrier has been popped. He's popping a lot of damage out, and a great piercing arrow is going to be enough damage to take down the Rek'Sai. Varus sitting with that brutalizer ended up just doing a little bit too much damage for the Rek'Sai to deal with, and Rek'Sai has just gotten robbed 3 times in a row. And here comes the Dragon's Rage onto the Cassiopeia. He's got, oh man, Rush actually getting locked up in the Cassiopeia ultimate, but not going to be enough because the Varus Q is going to be plenty of damage to pick up that Cassiopeia. But here comes the Ashe now. He's going to take down the Rush, Lee Sin. And it looks like Ashe's flash was very awkward, didn't go over the wall. So managed to pick up a kill, but flashed into the wall and then just got picked up. Rush still getting an assist, but that was still worth it on the Ashe's part. Getting the shutdown onto Rush. Very important thing to get done there because he was getting very strong. But it looks like the Riven now in a very precarious situation. A great flash to get away from the Diana Q. Not going to be enough though as she gets locked down by everybody, and Rek'Sai is going to pick up that Riven. It has just been so action-packed. 18 kills in 12 minutes. I haven't even remotely began drinking my water that I grabbed prior to this high ELO commentary because I've had to talk this entire damn time. It's been so insane. And like exactly what I want to see in challenger games, which is just like pure aggression, like making those solo plays. You very rarely see solo kills in lanes at this high ELO because it tends to be a much more team-focused game, getting vision, taking objectives. But right now we just have so many people doing so many aggressive moves that it's ending up just being an absolutely action-packed game. And Varus has just been so unstoppable in this mid lane. 3-1 and 2, already finished off his man immune. It's how do you deal with this now as the Cassiopeia? She hasn't even finished her Zhonya's yet. Oh, sorry, her Archangel stack. I was looking at Diana. Maybe I should swap these two. Maybe it's just going to get a little bit confusing if we don't. So she hasn't even finished off her Archangel staff. So how the hell is she going to manage to deal? Like, look at that. One piercing arrow was almost half HP. The Chain of Corruption lands. The Boomerang Blade Sivir is going to land that. Also, the Death Sentence coming from Thresh. And there's going to be a Rampage for Varus. The Ignite is on Rush right now. He's going to have to safeguard away. And while all this is going on, there's a fight up in the top lane. Diana taking a lot of damage. Has to flash away, but it's not going to be enough to get rid of the Riven, who is currently on her, using her ultimate to pick up that one. No other kills happened in that little skirmish in the the blue side red jungle. And it looks like Ashe just got caught by a death sentence, but they're not going to follow through on that one. Riven pushing up the top lane while the red team does the dragon, trying to pull it out so that way Rush can just get a smite. Very easy smite, uncontested dragon for Rush. So that's the first dragon of the game going to the red team. And it looks like Riven is just going to push down this turret, probably get a free turret for her team. And of course, the moment that I swap Cassiopeia and Diana, Cassiopeia starts coming top lane. So of course, gotta swap these guys back. But when you just look at the farm, like look at the difference between these guys. 65 for the Cassiopeia against the 103 of Riven. Even if you look at her compared to the Varus, if you wanted to put her in the mid lane, that's 118 to the 66 of the Cassiopeia. Not even close. She has had such a rough game, 0-5 and 3. She was facing a hugely aggressive lane against the Riven, and then she went up against the Varus, who just stacks up blight stacks and does an insane amount of damage to you. I just don't think she really was going to have success from the start, but the one thing you have to say about somebody like Cassiopeia, I'm not going to talk about that yet, because it looks like the Sivir has to flash away from that arrow. It was probably going to land when the spell shield ended. It was going to be very close, so probably a nice, safe, proactive flash from the Sivir, making sure that she doesn't just get killed there. Oh, and Rush just going to toy with the Cassiopeia. Yep, that is going to be one dead cast. Going B when she didn't have any wards. Not overly smart, Cass. Not overly smart. Well, there you go. Nice to actually have a sip of water. Man, that feels great. So 8-13. We have a fairly large 4K gold lead in 15 minutes for the red team. 2 turrets to 0. And I don't even really think that the... but here comes Rush. Is he going to jive in on this? No, he is not. But it looks like he's getting collapsed on by Leona and also by the Diana. Leona trying to do a proactive, predictive Zenith Blade to try to catch Rush out, but not landing. I just want to see if they've done any damage to the turret. So mid-turret, like a core HP gone, and that hasn't even been touched. So they've done a really poor job at pushing turrets. It's just so far in the favor of red team. They've almost got this mid lane turret down as well. A couple extra shots from this Varus, and it's going to go down. And that's going to be 3 turrets to the 0. So much global gold for this team. Zenith Blade landing onto Rush though, and the amazing amount of lockdown takedown coming out of everybody, and Diana coming down to pick up that kill, and that's going to just be a free kill onto Rush. But with Rush's death, they picked up the mid lane first tier turret, so really, when you look at the grand scheme of things, pretty worth it. It looks like Thresh not going to dive over onto this, but oh my god, the amount of damage coming out of that Varus and the Sivir. Putting Ashe down to, like, what, an eighth of her HP? That is just insane. And while that was all going on, it looks like Riven had no problem taking down that Cassiopeia up in the top lane. She's currently level 9 to Riven's level 12. Just jumping over that wall is just going to start annihilating her. Does get a good ultimate onto the Riven, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough. Riven didn't even need that ultimate to finish her off. She is so far behind right now. The one saving grace that Cassiopeia does have right now, she is amazing scaling into the late game, and she has finished off her Archangel Staff, so when that upgrades to a Seraph's Embrace, she is still going to be very strong. And since she scales so well into the late game, if they just hold off, she might still be effective later on into the game. It's also, she's 0-7. It's not really like she's giving anybody any gold anymore. Like right now, you could probably feed as much as you want. You're not giving, you're probably giving them like 30 gold. You're probably worth less than a minion at this point. So I don't think she's overly concerned about that one, but I could only imagine in solo queue at this level that there might be a little bit of rage going on because Cassiopeia has kind of screwed her entire team with this. Just not, and you know, I don't blame her. She just had some pretty tough lanes to deal with. I don't think Cassiopeia would ever fare well against a Riven in that early game. And then she had to swap, which meant that she fell behind in her CS. She got up against a Varus, who I think would also do very well against a Cassiopeia. So it just has not been a good time for her. But Diana's still sitting at 4-2-1. You've even got the Rek'Sai who has a couple kills, and also the Ashe who's picked up a couple kills. So I wouldn't say that the blue team is out of this one, but you can't fight them right now in this mid game. Oh, a great insect into a chain of corruption. Amazing play coming out of Rush and the Varus. You can't ask for a better insect than that one. Jumping to the ward, kicking Rek'Sai back right into the chain of corruption. That was a dirty play coming out of Rush and Varus. And Varus knowing what was going to happen, making sure that he lands that clutch ultimate. Looks like Leona going to cast her ultimate out. A lot of damage going down onto the Thresh. He's going to be picked up very quickly by the Diana. Rush ends up getting out of that one. There was an assist for the Cassiopeia, which is definitely good, but Cassiopeia is going to have to flash over top of the wall. The flash coming out of the Riven as well. Going to miss the ultimate. The Broken Wings not managing to hit the Cassiopeia. And Rush finally going down from the Ignite from the Diana. Varus is now here, though, and looks at the Riven coming in. Going to pick up a very easy kill onto the Ashe, and it looks like the Leona is next. Double kill for the Riven. I don't know if they're going to make anything else come out of this one. Couple of little pokes coming out of the Varus, but that's going to be all she wrote. So that was, what, a 3-for-1 exchange, I believe? No, 3-for-2. Thresh did end up dying. But just incredible play overall from this red team. And the Chain of Corruption missing. If the Chain of Corruption had landed, that probably would have been a dead Diana. They're trying to pick up this kill. The stun coming out from the Riven. Not going to end up chasing that one. Sivir now trying to get away from the Rek'Sai, but I don't know if that one's going to happen. The flash coming out of Rek'Sai to pick that one up, and Diana's currently at like an eighth of her HP. Has to run away from this. So nice kill coming out of the Rek'Sai. 6-2-1 for the Diana. Already finished off her Zhonya's Hourglass, so that little bit of extra armor probably going to help with the poke coming out of the Varus and also the damage coming out of the Riven and the Lee Sin. But will it be enough? Find out next time. So, man, what can you say about this game? The Dragon's coming up in 20 seconds. Right now, the red team seems to have decent ward control, having 2 pinks, one just right down here and one up here to try to hold off this enemy team, but it looks like the pink wards are going to be taken out. The red team really needs to provide a little bit more vision, just probably around these entrances to the Dragon Pit to make sure that they can secure the Dragon pretty much uncontested, but it looks like the Riven getting into a fight with the Diana. We have seen this one before. Is the Diana going to be able to get out of this one? The Zhonya's coming out, and it looks like the Riven is going to try to time that. So she did still end up getting the kill, but she did actually mistime her Q, but still ended up picking up the Diana anyways. The Leona now in trouble. Chain of Corruption landing onto her. This is going to be just a free kill, not even a point. She doesn't even have her flash, not even a point of using that, even if she did have it. So that's going to be a kill going over to the Sivir, which is actually quite important. I'm happy that the red team gave the kill over to Sivir, because right now she's 1-2-5. She was 0-2-5, and everybody else 4-1 for the Varus, 6-4 for the Lee Sin. Even Thresh had a kill, for God's sake, so it's kind of nice to see the ADC actually gets a little bit of love this game. We already have on the Varus a BF sword plus the pickaxe, so it looks like he's going to be going for that Infinity Edge very, very early, alongside his Man Immune and also the Brutalizer. He's going to have so much damage coming into this later part of the game. There's the second dragon for the red team, 19 to 12 in the kills, almost a 7k gold lead. Sivir ultimate is popped, and it doesn't look like anything's going to come from it. Diana coming in to try to pop Rush really quickly, but it looks like the Riven doing a great job at damaging the Diana. Rush having to flash away from that when the arrow was going to dominate him. But looks like that's going to kind of be the end of the fight unless Riven starts getting in here. It does land a stun on direct side, but that's not going to be enough. They're just now poking one another, but currently it's a 4v3. And the red team is still managing to scare these guys off. They're missing one of their major damage carries coming out of the Varus, and they're still able to hold their own against that. But flash used from Rush, which is fairly important because that can also set up for some good flash plays to kick people back into your allied team. But the Seraph Embrace was just finished by Cassiopeia. So now she's starting to kind of stack up a little bit. Maybe we'll see a little bit more damage coming out of the Cassiopeia. I think she still has a long way to go to actually make herself relevant in this game in comparison to everybody else. And here comes the Riven once again against this Diana. My God, and timing it perfectly. So Riven picking up that kill, also stunning down the, oh my God, double kill for the Riven. 2v1, managing to pick up both people. Unbelievable amount of damage coming out of this Riven with that Black Cleaver. And also going, if you guys haven't noticed, if you guys haven't seen these yet, Sword of the Occult onto the Riven. The flash coming out of the Thresh, trying to make a nice little play there. That's what I love. Solo queue, baby. It's a beautiful thing, trying to make plays like that. So Rush coming in, another great insect into a chain of corruption. It's unbelievable, the coordination between these two, but sadly, it was a little bit too deep going into the Rek'Sai and the Ashe. The Ashe ultimate landing onto the Thresh, but they're not going to go in on that one because the Sivir is here with the Varus. 3v2 is probably not smart when you're this far behind. But I've been really impressed with Rush's insect moves. It's been so smooth. He hasn't screwed one up yet. It's been very, very good. Test Sentence landing onto the Leona, but not going to make anything out of it because Thresh doesn't have any support coming out of his team right now. They both went bot lane for the CS, which I don't blame them for. It looks like the Varus is nearing that 200 CS mark at 23 minutes into the game. Very good CS for the Varus. Oh, 199. Come on, Diana. Don't scare him off. But it looks like the Black Cleaver and the Bloodthirster, along with the Sword of the Occult for the Riven. What is her AD at right now? Her AD is 367 at 23 minutes into the game. That is disgusting. This reminds me of like the old Zion Spartan Riven. And look at that, popping her ultimate, wanting to go 2v1. 3v1 it will be now, so she has to pop the flash to try to get away from this one, but is now being slowed. The Leona ultimate missing completely, but now it is 4v1. So Riven should probably back off on this one. Death Sentence misses from the Thresh onto the Rek'Sai. Rush is now clearing out some wards because Baron is probably going to be the next objective that people are looking for. But Diana jumping onto Rush, once again trying to burst him out with the help of the Ashe, but not going to be enough to take him down. He has now started building a little bit tanky, going for that Randuin's Omen and also the Mercury Tread, so he will be able to survive a little bit longer. But still popping out a lot of damage with that Brutalizer and the Warrior Enchantment on his Chilling Smite. Making sure he also has that Sight Stone so he can provide a lot of vision for his team and also insect maneuvers whenever the hell he wants. With a Sivir and a Varus on your team, you can siege down turrets so easily, and as we can see, the Ashe ultimate just whiffed by everybody, so it's going to be very tough for the enemy team to actually engage on this one. The ultimate having to come out of Rush just to get the Diana off him. She finally does manage to pick up that kill onto Rush after so many attempts, but will they be able to fight 4v5? Chain of Corruption landing onto the Leona, a lot of damage. The Cassiopeia ultimate was only used on the Riven. Is it going to be enough to take anybody down? It looks like the Sivir picking up the Ashe, and now it looks like the Rek'Sai being taken down by a great predicted arrow coming out of the Varus. Looks like the Sivir is going to try to Lantern in here from the Thresh to try to take down this Diana, but it looks like they should just take down this turret. So it ended up being a 2-for-1, Riven going incredibly low, but landing a huge ultimate on nearly everybody who were fairly low from the original fight. So very, very nicely done. A great recovery from that red team. The teleport now coming in from the Riven. A killing spree for Varus, but ends up getting shut down by the Diana very quickly. The Lantern in from the Riven is going to probably be enough to take down this Diana. The Death Sentence misses. The Zhonya is being used, but it looks like the Riven is just going to take this one down. No problem whatsoever. Godlike Riven. 10, 2, and 3. How do you deal with that? I don't think that there's a way right now that the blue team can deal with. Watch this. Oh my God. She like 3-shot Ashe. What do you do against this? There's a double kill. 3v1. Riven picking up 2 kills. Oh my word. And she might very well pick up a third kill. Nope, but there's a nice hook coming out of the Thresh, and it looks like Riven now trying to get in here onto the Cassiopeia. Looks like Rush might be able to come in on this one, but nope, there's going to be technically a triple kill for the Riven. Rush tanking that turret for a little bit too long. Going to try to get away from this one. Oh, when that actually, I don't know if that landed, but got Rush incredibly low. And now it looks like Riven is finally running away from this. Or is she? She's going to return the fire onto Diana. Going to try to take her out. So much lifesteal coming out of the Riven as well. The flash being used, not going to be enough. That's an unofficial quadra kill. But the Ashe arrow landing onto the Riven, getting locked down by the Leona. But Riven is so mobile, just stunning up the Leona, running away. On the hunt being used by the Sivir. They're going to try to turn this around onto the Ashe. A great boomerang blade locking her down and getting that kill for the Sivir. And Riven with a sliver of HP, still walking into the base without any concern whatsoever, knowing how much lifesteal she has and also how big her E shield is. This has just been unreal. 31-17 for this red team. Rush played, he is now falling behind 6, 7, and 7. He's died a lot of times because he's trying to make some fairly big plays, and that's sometimes what the solo queue mentality will do for you. You try to make too big of plays and you just end up sacrificing yourself, but every time he seems to sacrifice himself, his team ends up making a clutch play and killing a bunch of people. Oh, miscalculation from the Sivir, not picking up that blue buff. Probably going to give it over to the Varus. Probably makes a little bit more sense for him to have it rather than the Sivir. Yeah, it looks like that's the case. His blue buff might have just been running out, so just going to refresh that thing. But the thing is, with somebody like a Lee Sin, we know he falls off in the late game. It's just something that Lee Sin does. He's just not that strong of a carry in the late game. But he did his job in the early and mid game, setting up so many kills, getting so many kills from himself, making sure that he created pressure in every lane, roamed when he needed to, secured 2 early dragons, and provided a lot of vision for his team. So as of now, Rush has completely done his job on this Lee Sin, and now it's up to people like the Varus, the Sivir, and the Riven to carry through this late game, which I think Riven is doing a fine job of doing. The ultimate popped by the Riven, the ultimate being used by the Ashe, but it's not in turret range, so Riven's gonna have a little bit of trouble with it. Did I say trouble? I meant she's gonna get this with no problem whatsoever. Like, not even a remote concern for Ashe. So it looks like Rush shoving back to the Riven. Riven's going to try to get in onto this Diana. Diana is going to go down incredibly quick. It looks like Sivir picking that one up. The Chain of Corruption from the Varus does miss, but is going to be able to still solo out the Cassiopeia without much trouble at all. The Ghostblade being used by the Varus as well, going to try to poke some damage off onto this Rek'Sai. They do have to be fairly careful, though. Rush is sitting on a sliver HP, and so is the Varus. So you don't want to be too aggressive. It looks like another flash death sentence from the Thresh ends up missing. Still got to love his gusto going for those plays. Riven just going to use her Bloodthirster to gain back a ton of HP, get her back to half HP, and we already have super minions coming in for this red team who are going to start pushing down these Nexus turrets, and it looks like the second inhibitor going down for the red team. So easy, and oh my god, this Riven is disgusting. There's going to be a double kill, and she's already trying to go onto the Diana. Is she going to have enough? That's going to be a triple kill for this Riven. Is she going to have enough to take down this? Oh, she got it. Come on, pentakill, baby. Come on, pentakill, pentakill. No, no, don't run into the base, you bastard. You damn little bastard running, cowering in your base. The pentakill was there for the Riven, but are they going to dive this one for her? Nope. Looks like that's not going to be the case. They're trying to get it, but sadly the pentakill was denied by this Rek'Sai. What a bad sport. Riven doing work this game, 19-2-4, but Rush having an incredible early and mid game, really setting up his team for success. So I hope you guys did enjoy that high ELO commentary featuring Team Impulse's Rush. If you guys did enjoy that, show that like button a little bit of love. The thumbs up gets a little bit lonely down there. Let me know if you guys did enjoy this high ELO commentary in the comments section below and what you guys want to see next. If you want to know when videos come out, and also if you want to know anything more about me and chat with me, follow me at Twiggerlaw on Twitter. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you guys have not already. And ladies and gentlemen, as I always say, see you guys in the next video.